Good evening. It's June 7th, 2025, Saturday, and it's my true pleasure and honor to be speaking with the humble hero from World War II, frontline infantry, Mr. John J. Jeckovich. How are you doing today, Mr. Jeckovich?
Very good, thank you.
You're looking well. Did you have a nice dinner?
Yes.
I like you got new clothes on, that big Christmas sweater. You must have been cold today?
Yeah, I change this every day.
Yeah. Amber went to the Springs today, so she couldn't come, so she'll be here tomorrow.
Yeah.
She likes the water. You can't keep Amber away from the water.
No, she went to that Holy Rollers thing.
You see, I don't know if we call it Holy Rollers. Amber's a beautiful Christian person that travels the world with the Bible in one hand and a surfboard in the other. What's your Bible look like?
Worn. It's worn.
Yeah. Why is it worn? Because she's using it. Many people have Bibles on their coffee tables that have never been opened. She preaches the Bible all around the world. She's a Christian missionary and surfs all around the world. There hasn't been a spot she hasn't been. I can tell you that for a fact. Very luckily, she was surfing in Malibu, California for 3 months, and she left about a week before the fires came. So that was a perfect timing. And even though Amber, which is Mr. Jeckovich's great-granddaughter, she's in her 20s, she lives on the ocean. She can roll out of bed and feet would hit the sand. But I guess when you're an avid surfer, you're always traveling the world looking for the big wave. And the unique thing about Amber, she visits Mr. Jeckovich 4 or 5 times a day. And she's simply Christocentric. When you're Christocentric, you have love and empathy for everybody, and that's how it works.
Yeah.
You and her get along with you just great, huh?
Yeah.
What a beautiful girl. What a beautiful girl. What a wholesome person. How she comes to visit her great-grandfather on a regular basis. Yeah. Words can't describe how nice that is. Words can't describe how nice that is. Well, Mr. Jeckovich was born in 1925, and he's knocking on the door of 100. It's 2025. Yeah, Mr. Jeckovich is knocking on the door of 100, and you're looking well, you know. You're looking awfully chipper today.
Yeah.
Mr. Jeckovich was from Company H, the 2nd Battalion of the 291st Regiment of the 75th Infantry Division of the U.S. Army during World War II. Mr. Jeckovich jogged for 80 long years. Mr. Jeckovich started jogging before it was fashionable. And when you're running down the streets in the snow and rain or decent weather in Niagara Falls, New York, with your corduroy pants, your boots, and your t-shirt or sweatshirt, back 80 years ago, what would people say to you?
Get off the road, bub.
Get off the road, you bum. They did not understand. They're ignorant of the fact that they're ignorant that Mr. Jeckovich was not running for transportation. Mr. Jeckovich was running for health. He was running for health. They'd say, get out of the road, you bum. Can't you afford a car? Or they'll throw empty cans of Genesee beer at you.
Yeah.
One time some wise ass popped him in the head with a full can of Campbell's soup. Wow, how things have changed.
Yeah.
Now you see joggers on every corner.
Yeah.
Look how we evolved, how beautiful it is to be jogging. But back then people just did not understand. They didn't see someone running on the road.
No.
So Mr. Jeckovich lives by the motto, he's got 2 doctors, his left leg and his right leg. His left leg and his right leg. Mr. Jeckovich reads 3 newspapers in the morning, Wall Street Journal, New York Times, and I imagine a local paper, with no glasses. His handshake is strong and knock you to the ground if he connects with you. And he, like I said, he's in excellent health, 100 years old. You know, he blinked his eyes, he said, he was 100, right?
Yeah.
80 years went by that fast.
Yeah.
So listen, boys and girls, it's a short dance around the sun. So enjoy every day, because, you know, right now you think, oh, that's a long ways off and it won't happen to me. But hey, listen, if you're 40 years old now, you only have a 5% chance of making it to 100. That's quite a feat. 5% chance making it to 100. Yeah. He did it. He's in perfect shape. I'm trying to think if I personally know anybody that's 100. I don't know anyone that's 100. Homer, do you know anyone that's 100?
No.
I don't either. I don't either. So
Why?
you beat the system.
Yeah.
You beat the system. How many years have you been retired for?
1980.
Holy shit. That's 45 years.
Yeah.
God bless you, man. Mr. Jeckovich was on frontline infantry. He waited to get drafted so he could spend more time with his mother. He had to care for his mother for the simple reason his father died making a living with 3 different jobs to give him a better life than he had in Russia. They came to the United States legally through Ellis Island, and they did great things. They worked. They came with a strong desire to work, to better this country, to better his family. In fact, when he was home, what did he say about your language?
We speak English here. We don't speak no Polish. We don't speak no Russian.
His mother was from Poland. Her name is Anna Targus. That's the book was written about, their mother's son. And her father was Marian Jeckovich, and he was from Russia. He left Russia at an early age, working in the factories in the coldest weather than you can imagine. And they put those boys working 16 to 20 hours a day in Russia. And where you dropped from exhaustion, that was your bed for the night. It was just that simple. So his father came here from Russia, the proper channels, legal immigration, and he gave back to the country. He improved the country like many Polish and Italian young men did when they came to the United States 100 or so years ago. Now today we have quite the opposite. We have 20 million illegal aliens that don't come to work to improve the country. They come simply to work the system. They have their hands out in every direction. And that's the big difference between 100 some years ago and immigrants and the immigrants today. Well, let's get back to Mr. Jeckovich. Why did you wait to get drafted?
Well, I had to serve my mother.
So his brothers enlisted, and by enlisting you get a really easy job. Oh yeah. His one brother enlisted, and he was teaching young cadets how to drive Jeeps.
Yeah.
Pretty easy.
Yeah.
Never left the United States. Was he an expert driver?
Yeah, I hit a fire hydrant.
So in the Army, if you hit a fire hydrant, you get promoted to teaching young cadets how to drive Jeeps.
Yeah.
So Mr. Jeckovich waited to get drafted so he could spend more time with his mother. And then what happens? Once you get drafted, you're going to go to front lines. And that's what this man did. He went to front lines and fought the battles of the European theater, Battle of the Bulge, Bastogne, freed the prisoner of wars, broke open the gates of the Holocaust camps, and he didn't leave unscathed. During the war, as a teenager, he received a bullet to his shoulder by a sniper, trench foot, frostbite,
Lost a hip.
a bomb, a dirty bomb that he still has shrapnel on his leg. He can't even go into a damn airport because the metal detectors would go off. So how do you handle that?
I hand him a piece of paper telling him what happened.
What is a dirty bomb?
Dirty bomber's got all kinds of stuff in it. Screwdrivers, razor blades.
Yeah. So the Nazis souped up this bomb with all kinds of nasty things. Razor blades, tools, all pieces of metal. And that's why he has shrapnel in his leg. His buddy in his foxhole, Donald Lape, he wasn't so lucky. Donald Lape wasn't street smart. Mr. Jeckovich was street smart. He told Donald, stay down, stay down.
Yeah.
Tell us. You told him to stay
And
down.
he kept popping up.
And then what happened?
They zeroed it on him.
They zeroed on and blew his head off. Gone. Teenage boy. Only thing left was his glasses hanging by one ear. Mr. Jeckovich closed his eyes, what was left of his face, took the glasses and one dog tag number and sent a beautiful letter back to his mother and father. The story doesn't end there. The story continues. For 25 years, Donald Lape's brother, his younger brother, lived a block away from Mr. Jeckovich's house in Florida. They didn't know it until it was too late, until his younger brother was an obituary. But that would have been beautiful if they had the connection. So they could have talked about Donald Lape, Mr. Jeckovich's friend, and his brother's, hero. It didn't happen. So, Mr. Jeckovich had all kinds of injuries during the war, sent in the hospital in Paris for how many months?
3 months.
How many?
3.
3 months. And here you go. These are things are different now. Once you're released from the hospital, and if your index finger works that machine gun,
Fit for duty.
yeah, and you're able to walk, you're called fit for duty.
Yeah.
Today, I don't think it would work like that. Today, I don't think it would work like that. Wow. So you jogged for 80 years. What got you started in jogging?
I read the book that Johnson wrote about running.
Boy, that book really did wonders for
Yeah.
you. What advice would you give to young people now?
If you run a set goal, and that's it, don't stop and run. Don't stop and run.
Yeah. So as a teenage boy, when Mr. Jeckovich was drafted, they were affectionately called the diaper division. How come?
Well, they're 33s, they're younger, 19-year-olds.
Yeah, they're 33's the code for teenagers. However, when they're told to hold the stone, and they were surrounded by hundreds of thousands of Nazis unexpectedly in the Ardennes forest, and about 6,000 German tanks, their orders were to hold the stone at all cost, because they couldn't get air supplies in, they couldn't get air support, they couldn't get paratroopers because the weather was so bad. The weather was so bad. And Patton, who was upset by all this, he made a prayer, a postcard style prayer, and had it delivered to all the troops, 250,000 all throughout Europe, right? Do you remember getting that postcard? Someone hand delivered it to you? And the prayer was General Patton praying for weather so they could fight. Here's an actual copy of the prayer. Almighty and most merciful Father, we humbly beseech thee of thy great goodness to restrain these immoderate rains which will have to be contend with. Grant us fair weather for battle graciously. Hearken to us as soldiers who call upon thee, that armed with thy power we may advance from victory to victory and crush the oppression and wickedness of our enemies and establish thy justice among men and nations. Amen. General Patton.
Yeah.
So that's what he sent out.
Yeah.
250,000 hand delivered to all the boys. And his prayer was answered on the fourth day.
Yeah.
It's the skies cleared up. But in Mr. Jekovich's case, it's a little bit too late. Now, they're holding up a stone, waiting for air support. 4 days later, they got it. But in Bastogne, they had 97% casualties. They held it, but they had 97% casualties. What was left of the snow and what was left of the filth was all covered in red. All blood. All covered in red. 97% casualties. And why was it so important to hold Bastogne?
That was the such report as the Germans wanted to get.
And then from there, Mr. Jeckovich moved on to bust the gates open with thousands of other soldiers in the Holocaust camps and the prisoner of war camps. Beautiful young soldiers, 180, 200 pounds down to 60, 70, 80 pounds, a total mess they made out of them. Starved them, most died. When you got there, what's the first thing they told you not to do?
Don't feed them.
Yeah. So when it was all said and done, many deaths. We started out with 16,400,000 young men and women who participated in World War II, great patriots, and now we're down to 6,000, less than 6,000 combat infantry vets like Mr. Jeckovich, and we're losing that at a rate of 150 a day. So if you have any questions for Mr. Jeckovich, please text him at 407-366-0000. He'll answer any question from A to Z. His mind is like a library. He's done many things in his 100 years. And it's just that simple. He wrote the book, Their Mother's Sons. What was the book? What's the book? They asked, where could I buy it?
You can't stop by it.
The book was not for sale. How many pages is it?
849.
It's a roadmap for a younger generation to have an easier and nicer life, a better life, a more wholesome life. And that's all it was. There's only one original copy that's in the World War II Museum in New Orleans. And the rest you can listen for free. He's got, right now, over 600 podcasts on YouTube, and we start from page 1. We go all the way to 849, and then we swing back, and we're on the 6th chapter. We're doing it the second time. So you can ask him any questions. Like, for example, if you want to ask him questions about marriage, ask him. He has good experience. How many years were you married?
69.
Yeah. So there you go. Unfortunately, in Florida right now, last year, there was over 90,000 divorces. How come?
Money.
Money,
Yeah.
It's so hard for a younger couple to get by because everything is so expensive. Both husbands working 2 jobs, wives working 2 jobs, and then a lot of friction takes place. It's not good. It's not good. So maybe this book would help. Listen to this podcast, ask him any questions. He'll answer them via text, or you call him up and talk to him. He would be glad to hear from you. So it was all said and done in the war. Mr. Jeckovich received the Bronze Star Medal, the Purple Heart Army Good Conduct Medal, American Campaign Medal, European, African, and Middle Eastern Campaign Medal, with 3 Bronze Service Stars, a World War II Victory Medal, Army of Occupation Medal with Germany clasp, Combat Infantry Badge, Sharpshooter Badge with carbine, pistol, and machine gun bars, Marksman Badge with rifle bar, and Honorable Service lapel button from World War II. You know, they say that was the greatest generation we ever witnessed. And I believe it. I believe it. Mr. Jeckovich and all those guys were part of the most selfless and courageous operation in the history of all human mankind. Mr. Jeckovich and all those young boys left their homes to help out complete strangers. You didn't know any of those people you're helping or fighting for, right? You had no idea. With whom they had nothing in common. You had nothing in common with any of those other allies there.
No.
May we be worthy of their legacy. That's very important. May we be worthy of their legacy.
9.
May we be worthy of their legacy. Wow. What an unbelievable generation. What an unbelievable generation. Wow. I'm looking in my hand right now. When you got drafted, you were 187 pounds.
Yeah.
Wow. How much do you weigh now?
151.
You have a lot of catching up.
Never happened.
Never happened. Well, on a side note and a happy note, you put on your former World War II uniform and it'll be loose.
Yeah.
That's good. Because most people, when they put on a uniform after 80 years or clothes after 5 years, it's so tight, it just doesn't work. But in your case, it's the opposite. It says here that you were raised on 3063 Orleans Avenue, Niagara Falls, New York.
Yeah.
How was that?
Beautiful, beautiful city then. It's a terrible city now. It's a dump.
It's a dump now?
Yeah, it's a dump now. Yeah.
What happened?
Well, Mafia got in.
And the politicians destroyed
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
The greed choked them.
yeah.
I can think of an example you just talked about. Mr. Jeckovich, one of your laundromats were on 2nd and Niagara Street, right?
Yeah.
In that little area there were over 200 mom and pop businesses, mostly Polish and Italian owned. You ran a laundromat.
Yeah.
There was pizza shops,
Yeah.
motorcycle shops,
Yeah.
clothing stores, leather stores, tie shops,
Yeah.
you name it. In the great fertile minds of the politicians, they came in the 1960s, early, and they said, we have a great idea. What are we going to do?
Convention center.
A convention center. How'd that go?
When they fell on their face.
It fell on their face, a big white elephant. So to get to that point, to have the politicians be extreme losers to everyone, they lined their pockets with cash, of course. But here we go, you have 200 beautiful families, Polish and Italian immigrants, that their businesses are now gone. They bulldozed them down.
Yeah.
Bulldozed them down. An interesting thing about Mr. Jeckovich's laundromat, he'd go there at 2 o'clock in the morning with a big bag to collect his coins. You could hear the roar of the falls.
Yeah.
You could throw a stone and hit the falls.
Yeah.
What a beautiful sight. And then if you went less than a mile, you would be in Niagara Falls, Canada. How was that?
Canada was beautiful.
It was beautiful then and now.
Yeah, yeah.
It was like Disney.
Yeah.
5-star hotels, 5-star restaurants. They still
Clean city.
clean. Tulip displays, rose displays, 3 big towers. You go on top and have a nice dinner. 5-star everything. And they even to this day have souvenir shops. Could you imagine? They have so much tourists that they still have souvenir shops.
Yeah.
Do you think they got any souvenir shops in Niagara Falls, New York?
No, no.
Hell no.
Niagara Falls is dead.
They were given that beautiful natural asset of the falls. Once it was termed the honeymoon capital of the world,
Yeah.
and they totally screwed it up.
Yeah.
They totally screwed it up.
Yeah.
Did you ever think it was get as bad as it is now?
The what?
Did you ever think the falls would ever be this bad in your
No.
wildest imagination?
No, and well, it was beautiful then. That's
Or
terrible.
did you ever
now.
think it would fall?
It's terrible. I've never lived there.
Yeah. So, when you were running your businesses as a boy, Niagara Falls was termed as a city. Population 50, 60,000 plus. Now, everyone left. Now everyone left. and it's termed as a village.
Yeah.
I remember about 6 or 7 years back, some genius, I put it in quotes, some genius politician said if anyone comes from another state and they go to Main Street has the stores on the bottom,
Yeah.
the apartments at the top,
Yeah.
all the stores are empty. I mean, it's a complete ghetto. The politician said if someone comes from another state and occupies the apartment above to give life to the city, we'll pay them $500 a month.
Yeah.
Some genius politician. That flopped.
Oh, yeah, they do work. They didn't work.
Yeah, what a dummy. You get these people that never ran a business, and they think of these fool things like the convention center and putting a complete stranger in an apartment and paying him $500 a month to kind of bring the economy back. They're not bringing the economy back with people like that. They're strictly leeches and parasites. What a stupid thing to do, or even think of. What a stupid thing to do. And how about the mansions when you're a boy that were on the water?
Oh, yeah, Francis Holmes.
Franchitone. Tell us about Franchitone.
Francis Holmes, well, he was the only celebrity we had in Niagara Falls.
He was a big nationwide, worldwide movie star.
Yeah. Being in all the pictures.
Yeah, and you were a handyman in his house as a boy.
Yeah.
Tell us the kind of work you did in his house.
Put stone walls down, take them off, fix the fruit cellar up, build a daughter's dollhouse for him.
Describe the location of Franchitone's house.
Yeah.
Describe the location. Where was it situated?
We're on the falls.
Yeah, it was right on the rapids. His backyard was the roar of the rapids, and a couple hundred yards down was a drop of the falls. That mansion was built in 1867. Franchitone's father acquired it in I believe 1901, and then after the Tone family was all dead, in '61 it was sold to an apartment building called Parkway Apartments. The actual address was 151 Buffalo Avenue, Niagara Falls, and believe it or not, those high-rise apartments, Parkway Apartments, they were built there in 1961 are still there.
Yeah, still there, yeah.
The apartments are high-rises. They must be extremely functional obsolescence that you couldn't imagine.
Narrow doors.
Yeah, narrow doors, tiny bathrooms,
Yeah.
galley kitchens,
Yeah.
low ceilings. You can't change that.
No heat.
Low heat ceilings, yeah. But it's there and it's got the views, and that's what makes it work. But it's amazing how that apartment building could still be there.
Yeah.
Wow. 1961. Wow. So anyways, you worked for Franchitone. What kind of person was Franchitone?
Person?
What kind of person was he?
He's an alcoholic.
Chain smoker?
Yeah.
Yeah, he would light one cigarette after another.
Yeah.
He left this earth at the age of 63.
Yeah.
He was married to Joan Crawford, and he played in all the major movies with all the A-list actors. Did a lot of TV shows, including Bonanza.
He did a lot of movies.
Yeah, a lot of movies. And he did a lot of TV shows like Bonanza and Twilight Zone and all those. Big time from Niagara Falls. It's amazing how that took place way back then. But the Tone story goes further. Your father worked for him, and the father was like the Franchitone. His father was like the owner or the president of the major big factory called Carborundum.
Yeah.
And it's still today. It's mega.
Still a big
mega.
thing, yeah.
And Franchitone's father got your father and your mother a job there.
Yeah.
Right? How long did your mother work there for?
Oh, 10, 15 years.
And she was in her 80s.
Yeah.
And how they wanted her to leave. So what?
They wanted to leave, so you give the younger woman the chance to raise their family.
Minutes, please. So they wanted her to leave because the younger people were saying, "Hey, we need a job."
Yeah.
So Franchitone's father.
20 seconds.
Oh, so your mother enjoyed working there.
Yeah.
What did she do there?
She's the cook.
No, at Carborundum.
For a small wheels inspector.
Oh wow, that's hard on your eyes.
Yeah.
Wow. And plus, Franchitone's father got your brother in Cornell.